The night air was thick with anticipation as the Carnival of Curiosities arrived in the small town of Willow Creek. Whispers drifted through the gathered crowds as they watched the procession of wagons roll in. Each wagon was more bizarre than the last. Twisted iron cages housing mysterious beasts, ornate caravans adorned with ominous symbols, and rickety carts overflowing with strange artifacts. At the head of the procession was the Ringmaster's carriage, as dark and foreboding as the man himself. Roderick stepped out slowly, his piercing eyes surveying the crowd. He was impeccably dressed, but his smile contained no warmth, only cunning calculation. With a flourish of his cloak, Roderick welcomed the townsfolk to the dark delights of his carnival. The locals gathered in fascination and fear as they watched the carnival assemble from the ground up. Each performer and crew member had a task to do, and they went about those tasks quickly and silently, their eyes downcast. There was Boris the strongman, 7 feet tall with arms like tree trunks. Anna the contortionist bent and twisted her body unnaturally. Vladimir had skin like a crocodile, and Mariana could grow her nails 6 inches long in seconds. Despite their awe-inspiring talents, it was clear the performers were miserable. Roderick ruled them with an iron fist, exploiting their uniqueness for profit. Their eyes held no joy or fulfillment, only sadness. "Hurry up with those tents, you useless idiots," Roderick bellowed as he oversaw the setup. "The gates open in 1 hour." The performers scurried to please their merciless master. As the sun set, the torches were lit around the carnival. Crowds of curious townsfolk gathered outside the gate, jostling for a glimpse at the infamous attractions. Roderick stood at the entrance, relishing the power he held over both the townsfolk and his performers. Suddenly, a hush fell over the crowd. A striking young woman with raven hair and piercing green eyes approached Roderick. She was dressed in a cloak that obscured her body. "What's this?" Roderick said suspiciously. He tugged on the fob of his pocket watch to check the time. "You're a bit early, my dear. We aren't quite ready for guests." The woman lowered her cloak, revealing a gown that seemed to shimmer in the torchlight. "My name is Alara, and I wish to join your carnival," she said, her voice melodic and enchanting. Roderick looked intrigued. "Go on." "I have a unique gift, like your other performers," Alara continued. As she spoke, her voice seemed to echo eerily, resonating through the space. The crowd swayed on their feet, entranced by the hypnotic quality of her words. Roderick's eyes glinted with greed. "Very well, we'll see if you have what it takes. The show is about to begin." He led Alara backstage to prepare. As Alara donned her costume, her gaze fixed upon the other performers. She observed the deep scars and fresh wounds on their bodies. Her heart ached at the brutal mistreatment they endured under Roderick's hand. Alara knew why she had come. It was her purpose to liberate these poor souls from their torment. She would harness the true power of her voice to break Roderick's hold forever. But she could not do it alone. She would need allies. The opening act began with Roderick's grand entrance to raucous applause. The show progressed through each bizarre and magnificent performance. The crowd reacted with gasps and shrieks, thrilled and unsettled in equal measure. Backstage, Alara pulled aside Mariana and Vladimir. "Your master is not who he claims to be," she whispered urgently. "But together, we can unlock your shackles and end his reign." Mariana and Vladimir glanced around nervously, but seeing the kindness and conviction in Alara's eyes, they felt a growing spark of hope. One by one, Alara recruited the other performers, fanning the flames of rebellion in their hearts. Together, they could be free. As the days passed, the carnival became consumed with tension. The performers were emboldened with newfound purpose, moving with less fear and more unity. Roderick sensed the shift in the wind. Paranoia ate at his mind and his temper grew violent. The night before the grand finale performance, Alara gathered her allies in secret. "My friends, we share a common pain, but But tomorrow we will harness our collective power to shape our destiny. Are you ready? Their answer roared back emphatically. Yes. The time had come. The next evening, the carnival was bursting at the seams, with crowds drunk on excitement. Backstage, Alara steadied her breathing and visualized their plan. Her intense concentration written in the lines of her expression. Her fellow performers encircled her, united with hands joined as she prepared for what was to come. As Roderick stepped into the ring to introduce the finale, the performers emerged unexpectedly and surrounded him. Alara stepped forward, her voice booming loud and clear. "Your cruelty ends tonight, Roderick. We are no longer your pawns." The performers cheered behind her. Roderick's face twisted in rage. "You dare defy me. I gave you a home when no one else would. I made you stars." "You made us slaves," Anna cried out. The others shouted their agreement. The crowd murmured in shock and confusion as the confrontation unfolded. Many were confused. Was this part of the show, they thought? Alara raised her hands, her cloak falling away to reveal a shimmering gown. She began to sing, her voice ethereal yet commanding. The other performers added their voices, the collective sound rising in an eerie, haunting chorus. Vladimir approached the ringmaster with chains and restraints once used on him as punishment. The ringmaster protested his confinement, but was powerless to stop the giant from securing the constraints. Roderick's eyes widened in fear and shock as Alara's spell took hold. Her words bound his mind, unlocking his insatiable greed and malice. The dark energy consumed him from within. The audience gasped as Roderick doubled over in pain. His limbs cracked and contorted, bones shifting beneath his skin. His anguished screams morphed into monstrous roars as his teeth grew into jagged fangs and horns sprouted from his head. Within moments, Roderick transformed into a hulking, grotesque beast, a physical embodiment of his twisted soul. He thrashed against his restraints, but the performers held fast, their spell unbroken. A stunned silence descended on the crowd. Then thunderous applause erupted as the audience rose to their feet in amazement. To them, this was the most incredible illusion they had ever witnessed. Alara stepped forward and raised her hands to quiet the crowd. "Thank you for joining us tonight. The Carnival of Curiosities is now under new management. I am Alara, your new ringmaster." The audience cheered wildly, still believing they had seen a masterful act. They gleefully departed into the night, a buzz over the show. With the audience gone, an eerie silence fell over the carnival. The performers gathered around Roderick's monstrous form, taking in his twisted horns, jagged teeth, and contorted limbs. Alara circled Roderick slowly. "Your reign of terror ends tonight. You exploited these poor souls, but now you will learn what it means to be feared for your hideous form." Roderick snarled and thrashed against his shackles. Alara continued, "Each night I will return you briefly to your human appearance, so you may once again look normal. But at every show's start, I will transform you back into this beast. Your punishment is to have a sliver of humanity, only to have it ripped away for the delight and entertainment of the audience." The performers murmured in sinister approval. For the first time, genuine fear flickered in Roderick's eyes. His tyranny was over, but the real show was just beginning.